everybody. It's great to have you again back on our channel. My name is Amara.
And my name is Gospel.
If you're new to our channel, please do not forget, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you know when we put content out. It will always be a joy to have you join our community. And to all our returning subscribers, it's always a joy to have you.
Today we want to talk about something very interesting because we were having conversations on different relationship issues, and someone sent us a message that she would want us to talk about trust in marriage, trust in relationship. And today we want to talk about trust in relationship.
Now let's start by defining trust. Trust is one of those words that is always used. People talk about, oh, do you trust me? Do I trust you?
I agree with you. It's a common topic that comes up in relationship. People talk about trust the way they talk about love. But the thing is, sometimes people don't even know exactly what this trust is. Do you want to define trust?
For the sake of definition, let me just say that trust is the faith that you have in someone, that person will be loyal to you irrespective of anything.
Yeah, I think that definition is simple. For me, trust is like, if I use myself now in a relationship, trust is like when I say I love you, you believe that my word is going to align with my action. You trust, you have that faith that the I love you I said to you, that I really mean it. That I'm not going to back out on you if things become tough. For me, that's trust.
In marriage, I don't think that we can overemphasize how important trust is, because when you think about this is someone you love, you want to be sure, you want to have faith, you want to be sure that this person will be loyal to the love that you guys profess, isn't it?
It is.
So it's about making that lifetime commitment. It's about having that faith that this one is committing to for life. That our affection is going to be for life, our love is going to be for life. Whether we go through the high waters, through the low waters, through thick and thin, no matter what life throws at us, we will stick together.
But there is an issue around trust because you're bringing love into the equation, like how we define trust in marriage. Love for me is more like unconditional. But I think that trust is not just what you just give out to someone and say to the person, I trust you, and you just trust the person. Some factors would always make you trust someone.
Yeah.
Number one, the person has to be trustworthy. Two, the person has to earn your trust. You see, that's the difference for me. I can love you unconditionally because I have made a commitment to love you.
Yeah.
Even if you're not faithful to me, I will love you. Even if you're dishonest, I choose to love you because it's an obligation.
The trust is to be earned.
I can't trust you if you're not honest to me. Yeah. Is it possible to trust someone who is not faithful to you?
I don't think so. I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult because you might just be putting up a show to say that, oh, I trust him or I trust her, but in the depths of your heart that this person is not honest or this person is not trustworthy. So it's a bit difficult to trust someone who hasn't quite shown or demonstrated attributes that would allow me to easily trust that person. But love, yes, I can give love unconditionally, irrespective of anything. But I think that trust has to be earned.
And for me, using our relationship as an example, there is no way I would have that confidence to love you wholly, open up to you, be transparent to you, give you all of me, if I don't trust you.
Yeah, and I think that the challenge is that a lot of people out there, a lot of people in relationship always think that if my wife says she loves me, or if my husband says he loves me, then he should trust me. Why doesn't he trust me? But he says he loves me, but he doesn't trust me. So I think this is where there is an issue around, if you love me, then why don't you trust me? Yes.
But that's why I say that there are two different things, because I could love you because I want to love you. I want to stay in this relationship with you. But I have to know I have to have reasons to trust you. Trust is based on information I have about your character, about your competence, about your commitment to the relationship.
Yeah.
So, if for instance, if every time there's an issue, you threaten me with the I'm going to leave this marriage if you do this, if you do that.
Yeah.
That would chip away the trust I have for you, that you're going to be loyal in the relationship.
I think that based on what you're saying, trust is more or less like a currency.
Yeah.
It gives you access beyond the superficial, things, beyond, this is what, I have to trust you to be able to share personal things with you.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say this is for a lot of people, our viewers watching who are still single, you have to get to the point where I need to trust the person that I'm in a relationship with in order for me to begin to share personal stuff. I need to be sure that I'm safe with you, that whatever I'm sharing with you cannot be used against me, even for the married people. Sometimes, it's all about vulnerability. Trust is about being vulnerable to the other person.
That actually brings me to the point of looking at trust as access to intimacy. You can't be intimate with someone if you don't trust that person, even though you can love the person because you have made a choice to love the person. That even brings me to the point of intimacy. You can't be intimate with someone if you don't trust that person.
True.
You have to trust the person's character, you have to trust the person's commitment and competence.
Yeah.
And sometimes you start a relationship with someone. I'm looking at people who are single. And the person expects that you're going to open up your life at the
start.
point of starting a relationship.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't work like
It's
that.
a process.
You need to allow the person to come to a point where they will trust you.
Yeah.
They give you a little today, tell you a little today, and they check how you're going to use
you're
that
receptive,
information.
or whether you're receptive to that information. And I think that it's a process, because even in marriage as well, you talked about intimacy. There are different levels of intimacy, and of course trust is a very important aspect of that. But also it takes a process to build on what has been before now, and then it's an interactive sort of relationship. And I think that intimate relationship cannot thrive if you don't trust each other. I think you guys will just be pretending to yourself or just lying to yourself that, oh yeah, we are intimate with each other. Do I trust his words? Do I trust his actions? Do I trust that he or she will be there for me when I need them the most? Do I trust that this person is completely honest with me? Do I trust that this person is completely vulnerable with me? I mean, these are very tough questions. They are tough questions.
Trust, yeah.
Yes.
Very important point you've made in terms of elements of trust. But you should also look at it this way, that sometimes the person who is not trusting the other may be the person who has issues with insecurity. Not because the other partner is not trustworthy. Because we've talked about elements of trust in terms of trusting someone's competence, commitment, and character. You may not trust this person. It's like both of us. If you don't trust me, because maybe if I go out, in your head you're thinking, who is he with? How am I sure that where he said he's going is where he's going?
Yeah.
And you begin to play out
Process.
a lot of things in your head, maybe because of your past experience. You've been in a relationship with someone who broke your trust, who did some certain things that make you now think that this guy may be playing the same role that person played.
So you begin to see some patterns
in the relationship. It may make you question this person, even though the person is trustworthy.
Yeah.
Your insecurity, your fears, because you don't want this relationship to break up.
Yeah.
We could make you show elements of lack of trust.
But let me just say that you cannot gain trust through suspicion.
Exactly.
It's not possible.
You can't win someone's trust by being suspicious of the person.
That's true.
There has to be concrete reasons for doubting this person.
Yeah. So because if you're well, I think that some people, like you said, they might need to go through a process where they wean themselves off the relationship that was toxic, that got them to the point of having to not trust the other
Always
in their
doubt.
current relationship,
Always
or always monitoring, always checking
their phones.
maybe, oh, what if,
Yeah.
you know. I think that maybe they haven't quite dealt with the past, and sometimes when people haven't quite dealt with issues in previous relationship, they come with those baggages into the current relationship, and also that would chip away the trust in the current relationship.
I also want to add that if one is not trustworthy, you may have issues trusting others.
That's true.
So you have to also look at yourself in the mirror. If I need to trust this guy, am I trustworthy? If I want this person to trust me, am I trustworthy? If you expect trust from the other person, how are you? So who you are reflects on your perception
of the other.
others.
That's true. Let me add at this point that there are different reasons why people tend not to trust the other person. And I would say that, in addition to what we've spoken about previously, dishonesty is one of those. So you've been in a relationship with someone, they've been dishonest with you. Oh no, this current relationship, oh, I smell a rat, I don't trust her, I don't trust him. It might be issues around infidelity, especially.
That's a big one.
It's a big one.
Even in marriage.
Exactly. You've gone through infidelity in marriage, but it's difficult because this presents a lot of issues. And it also depends on the parties involved.
Look at it this way.
Yes.
Imagine that we are so in love, we love each other, everything is working out well.
Yeah.
And you find out that I'm having an affair with a woman. You've trusted me all your life that this guy, based on my character and past experience, you trust that my husband can't
do this.
Not that he won't, he can't do this.
Yeah.
And you find out that I've done this.
It's
and
difficult.
you look, it's not like he's in doubt. I say to you, yes, I did it.
Yeah. It's tough.
It's going to take you a while
to process it.
And to come to the point of trusting me again.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard because there are a lot of questions that will pop up.
You will start doubting a lot of things I've said to you in the past.
That's true.
So this could be someone's experience out there listening to us.
Yeah.
And that you've not been able to trust again like you used to is not something you need to blame yourself for.
That's true.
And it's not something your spouse needs to blame you for. Both of you need to see this as a process.
Yeah.
Because the investment of trust determines the level of heartbreak or the level of distrust when that trust is broken.
That's true. And I think that you need to be patient with each other because people process things in different ways. Now you could don't compare your wife and say, oh, but XYZ family or couple experienced the same, and
and
they moved on in 2 months, or they moved on. Everyone is different, and I think that it's a process. And whilst you're engaging in that process of trying to rebuild trust, I think if it's hard for you to do it together, you might want to seek help. You might want to bring someone who is going to help you both to see how you can navigate it's a very challenging situation in any relationship. And I know people who have been through this. It's very difficult. Now, how you process it, there's a lot of patience that you need for the spouse. And again, I would say that, your perception, especially if you are the one who that has been done to,
whose trust has been
broken, you also need to work on your mind, you need to work on your perception. It's difficult. It's not as simple as ABC. It's a process.
And I also want to say that secrecy is an element in all of this that could even hinder the level of trust.
That's true.
Because if someone is keeping secret from you and not being honest with you, even about their experience or the things they've done wrong, you find out by yourself.
Yeah.
That creates more problems in terms of your level of trust for the person. So for trust to be built or for trust to be broken, there is usually an element of secrecy there. What do you think? I think so.
And I would always say that for you to be intimate in your marriage, one of the killers of intimacy in marriage is secrets. It's a killer. For you to think about this is something that my spouse do not deserve to know, or I'm not supposed to tell my spouse about this, or my spouse is not supposed to find out about this, that's already a red flag.
Yeah, not just secrecy in terms of infidelity or anything negative. It could be keeping secret about money.
Yeah.
You're giving out money to people.
It could be anything. It could even be your habits. You know, some people overindulge. So, say for example, you love to wear good things as a woman. You love to shop. You love to buy clothes. You love to buy good shoes. Then you begin to buy things without, you know when you are really, really overindulging.
And without the
and you don't want to let your husband know about
You're
some of
keeping
the
it a secret.
Exactly. So I think that there are different levels. It's not mustn't be necessarily something like infidelity. It could be even the habits that you have and you want to keep them secret. You want to keep them away from your spouse. I mean, you need to be vulnerable with each other. You need to be able to deal with it together as a unit. And that's the whole essence of intimacy in marriage. That's the whole essence of partnering up with someone in marriage. Now, you might be listening to us out there and you'll be like, oh my God, the trust in my relationship is so chipped away, it's so broken. I don't even think we can even pick up the fragments of trust in our relationship. Now, I think there are ways that you can work towards rebuilding trust.
Yeah, even if you've not even broken your trust and you want to maintain a high level of trust.
Trust, yes.
These are things you need to do. From our experience, we know that trust is built when you're open.
Yeah.
Open communication. You talk about almost everything. You are honest with each other in your conversation. Not just that you're an honest person. You can be honest, but you're not open to communicate. You keep things to yourself. You're struggling with issues. You don't tell your spouse about it.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be financial issue you're going through. You think you're protecting her as a man, and she doesn't know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You're just living your life. You're not allowing the other person access to you. It could affect the level of trust the person has for you. So you have to be open. What do you think?
Well, I think that we cannot overemphasize the importance of openness in relationship, because that is what helps the relationship to thrive. So if you're not open, and there are different levels. At the start of your relationship, it might not be it might just be basic level of communication and being open. But there are ways, like we said, it's a process. So you begin to build that intentionally. Because a lot of people don't even look at building it intentionally. It's something that is an art. It's something that you have to learn. What makes my spouse tick? What can I do to make sure that I'm building that sort of atmosphere, that sort of an environment where we can be open about what we are telling each other, and not using what the other person is saying
telling you as a weapon against the person.
Yes.
Yeah, that can actually make someone close up.
The second thing that I think would help enable trust in your relationship is setting boundaries. Now, having clear boundaries together is a crucial part of starting to build trust. Boundaries, in your relationship, having that clear space. How much space are you comfortable with in this relationship, emotionally and physically? Now, I don't know, because in marriage, it's very difficult. I mean, boundaries are kind of blurred because you're so close to your spouse, both physically, and emotionally.
Yeah,
I assume
you are supposed to be one.
Yes.
Oneness in all levels.
Yes.
Or at all levels. But when we talk about setting boundaries, I think it has to do with setting boundaries in terms of external influence as well.
Absolutely.
If you're a guy who has a lot of female friends, you also need to set boundaries how much you get close to them, so it doesn't interfere with the relationship you have with your spouse.
I think it's about, what is my wife comfortable with, or what is my husband, because it could be the other way around, where it's the woman who has a lot of male friends. So what is my husband comfortable with? Because we have been coaching a lot of young people or young couples as well, and we find out that there are things that your wife would say to her husband and say, oh, I'm not comfortable with this, and vice versa. And they feel that, oh, why is she not comfortable? Why is he not comfortable with this? There's nothing bad. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing between us. It's just an old mate. It's just an old pal. But for the fact that your spouse has said that, I mean, it's all about you having this sort of conversation.
The other point we want to raise is that every relationship has its ups and downs. So you need to be sure that within the confines of your marriage, you must identify the seasons you guys are going through. Some things could happen that could deplete your trust, but before you make up your mind to say, I don't trust this guy, can you take some time, stop, reflect on what's going on, reflect on the person's life experience at that point, reflect on what is going on in your relationship as it is, because when your mindset is on the negative, there could be reasons for you to start distrusting your spouse.
You might have experienced conflict in your relationship, and that has led to the lack of trust or trust being chipped away in your relationship. I would say the first thing is stop and analyze your feeling. How are you feeling? Because sometimes our feelings and how we think about things, how we process things, influence how we behave, how we act towards the other person. So I would say that you being able to resolve and find peace with difficult emotions like anger and disappointment might be very important for you to move on in your conflict. And it's all about you now. You're not focusing on the other person. It's about what's my perception? How do I treat this person? How do I behave? Yes, there's a conflict, but yes, you can disagree respectfully. You can come to an agreement even though you're disagreeing. And I think the second part is you need to think about your role in all of this. What went wrong in this whole process, in this conflict? How did I contribute to it? It's not about you now blaming the other person. It's about thinking about what was my role and how did I contribute to enable this conflict or to escalate this conflict. And think about what can I now do to make sure that I am diffusing, the whole conflict and making sure that it's not blown up out of proportion.
And chipping away the trust you have built over time. It's not easy to build trust. Trust could take a long time to build, but it takes a minute, a moment to
just shatter it.
Destroy it.
Yes.
But we are saying that you need to find a way to rebuild trust by going back to the things that you did before that led to you trusting each other.
And I think that it is also very important to talk about it.
Very, very important.
Because sometimes people, they process it, okay, this is my role and all that. And the next phase is now you having to talk, communicating that feeling. What was the issue? Having to listen to yourself, listen to your partner without listening to respond, but listening to their hearts, listening to their emotion, listening to their pain, and trying to see how we can resolve this conflict. And not about winning. Fine, you win your argument, but then
you lose the person.
You lose the person.
Yeah,
you lose your relationship. So it's all about us. It's not a me thing. It's not me versus him. It's not him versus me. It's about how can we resolve this amicably in order to rebuild the trust that has been chipped away.
I also want to add that please can you give each other the benefit of the doubt. Yes, you have had your issues. Yes, trust has been broken. But you can start all over again. You can give each other a clean slate, believing that if this person has said to you, I am sorry, I am willing to give it my best shot, trust that this person can give it his or her best shot.
Now, our viewers, you might be listening to us. Are there ways, are there things that you think that could be done in order to rebuild trust in a relationship? Please, can you put your comment in the comment section, because we'd love to read your comments as well. And if you think that this video will be of value to anyone, please share this video and make sure that the people who actually need this content would have access to it. It's always a joy to have you coming back to the channel, to our returning subscribers. And if you're new to our channel, please do not forget, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Now, until the next episode, it's goodbye from us.